Mai ka ʻaina uluwehiwehi o Hawaiʻi Kuauli, a hiki I ka papa nui o ka helelani, welina mai kākou me ke aloha pumehana mai ʻole. He lawaiʻa no ke kai papaʻu, he pōkole ke aho. He lawaiʻa no ke kai hohonu, he loa ke aho. A fisherman of the shallow seas uses only a short line. A fisherman of the deep seas uses a long line. With this ancestral knowledge, we engage intentionally and rigorously in the practice of indigenization. He Loa Ke Aho presents Ka Hoʻoholo a He Loa Ke Aho, an appraisal of our work of indigenization at Ke Kulanui Kaiaulu Eva from 2020 to 2026. Hosted by Project Coordinator and Kupa o Mokuleʻia, Brandy Makalani Hayden. E holoholo kākou I ke kai hohonu. Let's collectively holoholo in the deep seas.
Leeward Community College has had very limited amounts of indigenized spaces and resources available to the students and employees in the community who we serve. When we envisioned these collaborative learning spaces, we wanted to make sure that we created a sense of belonging for our students and our employees and our community when they come to visit us on campus at any one of our facilities. So we have three. We have the Pu'uloa campus, which is our true campus. We have the Waianaimoku Center, which is basically a satellite campus. And we have the Wahiawa Value-Added Product Development Center, which is not really a campus, but they do hold some classes out there. So there's three spaces that Leeward Community College has, and we wanted to make each one of them a place where Native Hawaiian students and all students and employees feel at home, they feel comfortable, they feel valued. They can walk into a space and feel like they can identify with it, because oftentimes when we come into college, it's very sterile. We have, instructors, professors from elsewhere who may not be familiar with us yet. And that's part of our program, is to indigenize spaces and then indigenize our way of being within the college. And that extended to all these things. So we found that we needed to not only do the professional development for our employees, but also to indigenize the spaces. When we indigenize our spaces, we feel more comfortable in the place we're learning or working, and we feel that we can be who we are. We have a sense of identity. We have a sense of belonging. We feel valued. We feel like we really belong in a space of academia, which is something that Native Hawaiians have struggled with for a long time. Do I belong in college? Is that a place for me? And when I walk through the door, I don't feel comfortable. I'm out. Now we're trying to create spaces, especially out in Waianaimoku, where we have the largest population of Native Hawaiians that we serve. We want them to feel invited, welcomed, at home, comfortable, like they belong and like they're valued, so that they'll stay, so that they'll complete, so that they'll go on to bring back more to the community. And so that was the major why behind what we did, our intention behind the collaborative learning spaces.
Priming participants to indigenize their course or service as an emerging indigenization practitioner was necessary to activate the next successive indigenization methodology offered in Pai'aina, a cross-disciplinary program that provides professional learning communities coaching and advising to produce place-based curriculum that builds on pilina, relationship to place, history, practice, and Kanaka mentorship. Kanaka mentorship was the most valued methodology accessible.
Of the many objectives of our grant program, professional development was one of the biggest chunks that we were responsible to carry out. We had the internal professional development that we did, a continuation of Kauai Manamano through Kalei Kumupa'a, through Pai'aina, our different professional development programs within the college. But we also extended that to outside of the college through our E'imi No'o program, which brought either community to us or brought our employees out to community. And we knew that we had to give our employees a richer experience as far as professional development, where it wasn't purely in our academic setting. They had to go out to community. They had to gain those perspectives so that they could bring them back to the college, so that they could really get to know the communities that our students come from and that our fellow employees come from. So some examples of the ones that we've sent them out to were, we funded buses to go to HISI. So that's an annual conference for the community colleges. So we were able to get perspectives from across the Pai'aina. We sent people out to other islands. So they've gone to Hilo to do the Ewe Maoli PD. They've gone to Hana, which is a very unique experience. There were a number of other ones, but we also brought community to campus. So we brought in a provider from Hilo to do cultural workshops on campus for Kolan Mahina, so our moon phases, and also for wreath making, which included gathering from our native forests and everything. So these are the kinds of things we brought to them, and we found that they created really rich experiences, brought a lot of good perspective to our employees, and they were very, very popular and very well received.
While higher education offers many valuable services, we recognize that students and employees also needed intentional spaces to kilo, observe, hamo, listen, ho'olauna, build relationships, and learn alongside one another. We began asking a different question. How do we move beyond providing services that intentionally cultivate belonging?
The He Loa Ke Aho Title III program was also charged with creating a number of Indigenous resources to be available to the college or to the system as a whole. We were supposed to make an Indigenous resource repository via a website to house all of these resources, to make them available widely. And so we did that with Hoʻoholo Ke Aho, our Indigenous resource repository. And that will house all of the resources that we've created. Our student manuals, so our Namea Kukua, which were developed by our Native Hawaiian Student Support Specialist, and in conjunction with other campus people in our community, so our counselors, our financial aid office, our welcome center, you name it. And we created this guide for them, an OER textbook that was created by our Hawaiian Studies faculty with the support of our program funding. And that will be made available to all of the Hawaiian Studies students in our programs. We've created other resources such as various repositories, which we were never asked to do, but we found that while doing this work, there was so many rich experiences and so much knowledge out there that we could bring into the college and other outside resources. So we've made these various repositories of mo'olelo, community contacts. We were told to do high tech with the innovation of our cultural curriculum specialist in conjunction with our media contractor. We've produced and created these indigenization videos for professional development purposes, but they've grown to be so much more than that. Our students are benefiting from them, our employees are benefiting from them, and now even the communities are benefiting from them.
One of the high quality and high impact media resources produced in partnership with Oahu Films reached national acclaim through the Houston Asian American Pacific Islander Film Festival in 2026, with the film Hoʻoilina that dove into the natural inheritance of identity within Kanaka Maoli families across the Pai'aina. These module films were additionally curated in a collection at Leeward Community College's Hoʻikeakea Gallery named Ewe Hanao Ka'aina, Natives of the Land, where we answer the question, who are Kanaka today? Through the access to high-impact media resources, indigenization methodologies are implemented.
Our program created a limited time resource through our Ewe Hanao Ka'aina gallery installation, which was open from April 18th, 2026 through July of 2026. And we got many, many visitors to it. What we did was we were able to showcase all of the PD videos that we created through this program. We were able to showcase the student art that we created through this program. We were able to also showcase our Native Hawaiian employees. And we also collaborated with our gallery here, Hoʻikeakea Gallery at Leeward Community College. So it was a three-way collaborative effort to supply experience to our community, to our faculty, to our staff, to our students, to walk through what we've done with indigenization and to meet the people on this campus who are more than their jobs, who are here bringing with them all of the rich experience that they bring from their communities, from their identity as Native Hawaiians.
When the Student Support Services position for He Loa Ke Aho was filled, our charge was simple: create a student resource manual and provide student support workshops. As we began listening to students, however, we realized something deeper. Resources could tell students where to go, but they could not cultivate the pilina that helps students know they belong. That was the need.
The He Loa Ke Aho Title III program also offered services to our campus community. We offered indigenization consultation services to our colleagues, and that included if they needed some kind of advice or they needed us to look at something they were working on and kind of give them some feedback or mentorship on that, we did that for them, and we did it campus-wide. Another one was the Punana Sensory Space. So this was a place that was birthed out of a collaborative effort, as many of our efforts are, between other campus programs and ourselves, where we created a space for students and employees to come and relax, to reground, refocus, so that they can go back to their jobs, they can go back to their classes. And we made sure that it was very inclusive. So it had elements of culture, of aina, language, sounds, of our forests, of our birds, of our oceans, smells from our forests, our oceans. We brought all of that into the space, along with comfort items like lohala mats, pillows, chairs, dark rooms, lights, all kinds of really interesting things that could appeal to a diverse group of people. And they were very well received. People were very excited about coming to this, so much so that when we piloted it, there was a huge demand to bring them back. So now we're working on a permanent space. And one of the biggest things that came out of our programming, which was never supposed to be a thing, but we found that it was needed, was our Ho'opunana mentorship program. And that came out of us knowing that we persisted through college, through mentorship, and that was such a common need and something that people have said that they use to get them through, to help them to persist. And we went, we need to bring this to our Native Hawaiian students and then to the rest of the students who are in the pathways that we serve. So we opened this mentorship program up, and it went through many iterations. It was so powerful bringing employees and students together to share their stories. And when they did that, we found that students persisted. We found them coming to campus more. We found them engaging with their classes more, with their peers, with the employees more, and they found a sense of belonging between all of them. And the greatest thing that came out of the Ho'opunana mentorship program was that we earned the college a commendation on the ACCJC accreditation panel. And we were specifically named. Ho'opunana mentorship program had huge lasting impacts on student success and also on employees thriving in their environments. And because it's on that accreditation, there's an expectation to continue this. And so we're excited to see how the college intends to do that. We've had various opportunities to present our work and our findings and our theories and practices to students, employees, our entire campus community throughout the UH system and to our greater community. And that all started with a presentation that we did at our Leeward Community College campus convocation, which precedes every semester. And that was a mo'o, a continuum of access to Native Hawaiian education then, so back from Kingdom era all the way until modern times till now. And so that was a really good way to introduce what we were doing and to start what we're doing. And we've gone to various other presentations since then, which have really expounded on that timeline. And we've added ourselves to that timeline even. And on this timeline, Leeward Community College specifically fell into place around the 2000s. So they started like the Puko'a Council, they had Na'ewa Council, they started Title III grant programs, which benefited Native Hawaiian students. All the way until, I think it was 2020, when the Kauai Mano Mano Professional Development Program, then our grant was written and we came in, and now we've done so much more since we've been here. So Leeward's now evolved during our time here, and we really want to see how it continues to evolve after this grant funding has ceased to exist. Our presentations extended beyond the college, even into the international community through the SCUP conference, which our team presented at, and they were able to create another media resource for this one called Kanaka Mai Ka'i, which we ended up using for many, many other purposes, and again, well received, high impact. And so it just shows that we were able to really share everything that we've done, not only within the college, but to wider audiences.
Together, these initiatives taught us that belonging is cultivated through 1. Intentional safe spaces that foster quality pilina. 2. Prioritize wellness. And 3. Acknowledge our oia i'o, not simply through access to services. More importantly, this shifted our understanding of student support and helped us deepen our indigenization practice. Rather than asking, what services do students need? We now ask, how do we create spaces where students know they belong? That question continues to guide the Student Support Services work of He Loa Ke Aho.
Through our work, we came up against some challenges, some true barriers to achieving the goals of our work. Some of them were fixed and some of them were movable. But one of the biggest barriers, which we found was fixed, there was nothing we could do about it, was the difference between federal funding policy and system funding policy, even down to the college funding policy. And it really impacted our procurement processes, the timelines, execution of our grant objectives, which impacted the people who we were trying to serve. It wasn't as easy as it could have been when you have conflicting policies, and you have conflicting procedures. Federal government says we can spend on this, college says no. We pivoted. We found other ways to deliver quality resources and quality programming to our participants. Another barrier to our work was the challenge of being able to identify indigenization practitioners as indigenization co-leaders in this campus community. And there's reason for that. There's history behind that. There's trauma behind that. And I think it's important that people understand that Native Hawaiians and Indigenous practitioners in academia are being asked to do additional work to make that happen. They're counselors, they're teachers, they're secretaries, they're security officers. They are all manner of people with major responsibilities in these campus communities, but they're being asked to do the heavy, heavy lift of indigenization on top of their 9 to 5. And it's really difficult to ask that of them, but they've taken it on for so long, for 20 years or more, without support, without additional funding, without overload to pay them to do this additional work. They've done it out of the goodness of their hearts, out of the passion for their community, passion for their culture, passion for student success, and they're worn down, to be quite honest. They've reached their capacity, but they still try in many cases. And then there's others who have stepped back and say, I don't have the bandwidth for this. And we need to be sensitive to that, but at the same time, where is the college's responsibility, their kuleana, to support these indigenization practitioners and co-leaders? How do we help them to do this, to be mentors to the campus community who doesn't know how to do this when we don't have funding for it? And so we circle back to a system-wide issue where we rely on extramural funding rather than institutionalizing positions for this. We've had 5 years of people doing this work as their full-time jobs. And now we're going to be gone September 30. And one of the biggest challenges, I think, to this work for the campus community, and maybe even for our administration, is that there are no policies in place. We have a strategic plan, a system-wide imperative to guide us, but there are no policies in place to make sure that there are positions institutionalized to do this work. Another barrier we had was the potential elimination of Title III funding. During this time, during this climate, it made our work really difficult to not know day to day whether or not our funding was going to be there. It was promised for 5 years, but with the current administration, it became under constant threat. We really didn't know if we were going to be here tomorrow to be able to provide these resources and opportunities to our campus community. So that was a big one for us. It affected our team in a way that was profound, but we kept doing the work because we're passionate about the work. So that was another way that we were able to overcome that barrier, but still there's a limitation there because we can't do anything without funding. And Leeward Community College has a history of dependency on Title III funding to deliver this kind of programming to Native Hawaiian students and to our employees. And with this threat of it disappearing, being eliminated for an indefinite amount of time, possibly forever, we were left wondering, how will this work continue? How do we fulfill this kuleana to Native Hawaiians? How do we fulfill our kuleana to our strategic plan, to our system-wide imperative? One of the movable barriers that we found was answers to question, how does the institution provide kokua or support to Native Hawaiians and to everyone in our campus community? So some examples of how we've modeled for the college and we've demonstrated and we've instituted practices is that we've always shared mo'olelo, so our stories, our backgrounds, where we come from, what we bring with us to our work or to our academics. Introductions, including everyone. We're always very, very inclusive. We build a closeness, a pilina, a community within our campus by making sure that everyone is heard from, everyone is comfortable, everyone feels safe, that they're able to share without feeling hesitation for being judged or called out on things that might be different from what other people have experienced in that same circle. And so we're leaving the college with these blueprints on how they can continue doing this. These are very simple ways. When we do our campus Oli, invite everyone. They may not have gone through Kauai Manamana and learned it. They may not have been part of Kipuka and have learned it, but they can stand beside and they can hold space with us and they can share in that experience and in the intention of doing that Oli. So that's an example. It doesn't take money to do that. We can do that now. We can implement that now. Another thing they can do is increase access to historical knowledge. We've again provided resources from past, present, and things that they can do in the future. How will the college continue to do that? We have suggestions, right? I mean, we can continue programming like this. We can onboard our employees with an orientation that is robust, that can ground them in this community, in this aina, with the people they're going to be working with, especially for our employees that are unfamiliar, so that we're truly being inclusive, so that we're having everyone involved and everyone has the same starting line when they come into this space. One of our former professors, Ekuka Sasa, says, just do the right thing. But do we know what that even is anymore? Our team has worked this out. We feel like we've done the right thing in our work. We've done the research, we've done the practice. Our high impact programs have really left lasting change in the people who've participated and in the lives of the people that they've in turn impacted. How do we continue that? We know that the right thing requires you to have time, space, and the right people to do it. But you also need guidance. And we feel that during our time, we've provided that guidance. And it's going to be available on our website. And it's going to be available through the people who will remain here after we're gone, who've been through our programming, who've done the practice with us. They've built inclusivity, they've built pilina, they've built a community within the campus community who knows how to continue this work. But how is the college going to continue that? And that's a movable barrier. They can find solutions to that, but they can start small. They can start with what we're leaving behind, these blueprints again. One of the key findings in this work is that mentorship is so important. And not just in our programming like Ho'opunana and Pai'aina, which were structured for that, but mentorship at all levels. Our students need mentorship. You know, from the top down, from the down up, everyone needs mentorship. No one is 100% ready for this work because it's collaborative. You need everyone's skills, perspective, knowledge brought to the table. And we've done that through the work that we've provided here. We've brought people in, we've mentored them so that they can go forward and mentor others. They've continued to refine their practices. They've continued to feel confident in the use of their practice and their knowledge to implement that in the work they do here. And we've seen the immense impact that's had on our students and of our faculty and staff. That's another thing the college really needs to look into how to continue, is that mentorship. You cannot find all knowledge in one school. Sometimes you gotta come talk to the students because they're gonna give you a different perspective on what this college needs. And sometimes we forget that when we're doing this kind of work, that I'm at this level and I know it all, but I don't. Or I'm Native Hawaiian and I'm supposed to know it all, but I don't. So I think that if they can continue the mentorship that we've modeled and that we've practiced and that we've instilled in certain areas of this campus, then the college can learn to thrive and they can learn to grow and they can learn to carry forward the work of indigenization successfully and efficiently.
Collaboration is key amongst like-minded people. To complete this work of indigenization was an honor for He Loa Ke Aho, as it brought us together at Leeward Community College in cross-disciplinary ways within the University of Hawaii systems and within our Native Hawaiian communities over and over again. In each opportunity, we worked with those with similar goals, passion, and commitment. Sometimes we were a source. Sometimes the like-minded was a source. Each collaboration was a win for all. Opportunities for reciprocal evolving mentorship is paramount. Upon developing our opportunities for employees and students, we asked ourselves, why must students and employees learn separately through indigenization when both are essential parts in this desired place of learning? Although the source of knowledge is fixed in an institutional setting, in ancestral Hawaii ways, a source of kumu is interchangeable depending on the need. If someone is the learned expert, that someone is the kumu, and with this understanding, the learner orients as the haumana or student. This reciprocal evolving mentorship is modeled in traditional ohana Hawaii among siblings, and when the knowledge has been transferred, the return to one's natural role is the expectation. Evolving mentorship opened up new ways of being that brought forward the needed expert of the mo'olelo in interchangeable ways. Safe space to practice inclusive methodologies and discourse is critical. The absence of safe space during indigenization attempts paralyze in the immediate moment and maybe become a barrier to a future return to the work of indigenization. The void of this critical practice is evident in many adverse indigenization experiences shared. If there is no reconciliation of said experiences, participants exit the opportunity and often encase the practice altogether. We must fiercely preserve safe spaces through clear expectations. We must exercise the values of kupuna that protect us in modeled high standards. We must create a practice through repetition over time. Safe space is an agreement protected and served by each member of the space, not exclusively by the lead instructor or facilitator. Indigenization is a self-directed determination of accountability and kuleana to Lahui Hawaii by indigenization practitioners. The University of Hawaii's stated strategic plans kuleana to Native Hawaiians in Hawaii and the Ho'oia Aina Land Acknowledgement Statement of Leeward Community College, although well-intended, are currently void of accountable policy and procedure, and therefore position employees as self-directed in this commitment. The term indigenization practitioner was realized after observations of implementation by the self-directed. Such participants were not required subject matter experts of Hawaiian studies or Hawaiian language, nor required to be Kanaka. Such participants engaged intentionally to professionally learn in order to grow a new practice with intentionality to support Lahui Hawaii and Hawaii in the institution's kukulu or build of a Native Hawaiian place of learning. In each observation, learning and unlearning was patient, respectful, humble, and contributed to by the practitioner's mo'olelo in the process. This way of being became added value to the desired Native Hawaiian place of learning. When we keep telling and listening to all stories, we reinvest in a relationship that connects us to a collective Native Hawaiian place of learning. Stories are a natural resource in a valued place. Telling stories is one example of a practice. Listening to stories is another. By doing both over and over amongst the collective, mo'olelo strengthens our identity since mana is in each mo'olelo. This practice primes participants to be reinvestors of shared mana with students and peers. More and more mo'olelo will define our specific Native Hawaiian place of learning as one that is recognizable and definitive of our identity and practice. Our stories belong to us, and we are strong because of them.